Welcome back to the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. I'm Ernest, and this morning we're going to head over here. We've got a gasket replacement. It's Saturday. I've got a couple jobs. This is the only one I'm going to film today, and it's pretty cold. It's there's just a little bit of snow on the ground, snow up on the mountains. Again, you can't even tell. Like when I mean little bit, it's like little pieces hidden in the grass, or like you can see on the box, maybe there in the back of the truck or on the window. Even on the top of the truck, how just a little bit came down last night. So we're gonna head over here, do that gasket. The sun's out, hopefully it stays out. There's not too many clouds, so it should be pretty warm if that's the case. We'll head over here, do this exhaust gasket. It's on our Montero that we've worked on a few times in the past couple weeks, and I think some people noticed it. Maybe it wasn't really running in any of the videos, but it has a bit of an exhaust leak on that passenger side. It's a V6, so we're going to replace that exhaust manifold gasket on that side. And if everything goes well, it shouldn't be too crazy. Up in the same neighborhood, we've got some brakes and some other things to do this morning, not too many. And that's it for Saturday. Hopefully get done early this morning and have the rest of the day free. It is Saturday, so sometimes emergency calls come through. That tends to be the day that most people reach out while they're trying to work on their cars and can't get stuff back together themselves and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. Here we go. All right, here we are with our Montero again. Let's spray some there. Roadside rescue in this Montero. This should be the last thing we're doing on it. And that is the exhaust manifold gasket on this side. I had my customer spray some WD-40 on these bolts on the, I guess the nuts, they're studded over the past couple of days to make sure we have the best chance of getting those out successfully. And should be pretty straightforward. I'm going to remove this plenum right here, and we'll just get right down to it. Remove that cover and pop that loose, and we got a new gasket for it here, so we'll get started. Seems like up here by the mountain there's always more of a breeze and it's a lot colder. I think it comes down out of that canyon, which is a very big canyon. It comes down off, there's a lot taller mountains behind these. These are technically the foothills right here, but you can't see the mountains behind those. And there's mountains, these are probably like 7,000 foot in elevation. The mountains behind them are 12 to 13,000 feet in elevation. So I think all that air just comes down off of those mountains through the canyons here, and it blows pretty cold up here, but nothing I can do about that. All right, there's that. My fingers are cold. All right, now we've got a lot more room there, so I'm going to start removing that heat shield, and then we'll pop that manifold loose and just pull it out of the way and replace that gasket. All right, I just went ahead and removed the power steering pump reservoir from right here. I think I'm gonna remove this air box as well, since it's got like, I think just one 10mm holding it on. Maybe there's another one inside of there. And just to give me a bit of reaching room, I can probably do it comfortably right here, but if it's gonna take an extra 30 seconds to remove this, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. That way I can see what I'm doing real well, and yeah, mostly for that, just for comfort. So it's a small little price to pay for that amount of comfort. So okay, and there we have a lot more room to just access that exhaust manifold. And again, it was 4 bolts total. Actually, I didn't have to remove this one. It was 3 bolts. And now we're here with all this open room, and there's the pump I just folded up out of the way, just gently on these rubber hoses so they don't crack, but they don't look too old or dry rotted. So now we'll get started down here. All right, shout out to Bolster again. This is what I'm going to use to organize my bolts on this job. Let's see, it's just a silicone mat like this. Both my hands here, and you can just stick your bolts in there. It holds on to them. You can organize them if you want, but I'm just going to use that to hold on to everything there. Right, looks like somebody's probably worked on this before. One of the bolts is missing, and there's our problem right there. So it's not the gasket, this is something, again, I leave little bits of information out of videos every now and then. This was something I talked to the customer about, that it might be the manifold and not the gasket. And before we dug into it, he just went ahead and got the gasket himself, and rather than charge me a diagnosis and then come back and replace the gasket, we were just going to plan on it being the gasket. And if it was, then I was going to do it all at once. And obviously now it's going to be a diagnosis and a replace of this manifold. So I was a little curious too when I noticed that bolt was missing, and I thought with these washers being real clean, maybe somebody had been down here before. Looking at it right now, I don't think they have. Anyways, he may have already ordered a manifold. I think he ordered one online for 70 bucks, just in case it was the manifold. So I'll talk to him about that. You can't see exactly what I'm talking about. Here is this crack in the exhaust manifold, and that's what's leaking. So the manifold itself is going to have to be replaced, but he'll need these gaskets regardless. So that's kind of how we do it sometimes. I don't always introduce the videos that way, but yeah, now you know. Because I mean, if it was just a gasket, then you know the video would make sense. If not, I mean, again, now here we are, and now you know. Okay, that's a job well done. We're headed to do that O2 sensor now, and then we'll be done for today, as far as I'm aware of at this point. All right, here's this cool ThinkScan code reader that company sent to me for free. Another one to give away. I guess I didn't show the screen very well in the little review I did on it, so I'll kind of show you the screen here and in a few more videos just so people can get a look at it. And until I get a better computer, this is the one I'm using. It's the best one I have right now. Everybody's always like, you need something bi-directional. Well, I guess I agree. I just haven't got one yet because I haven't got one yet. I don't dabble in diagnosing too much. Let's see. Okay to confirm. Getting vehicle info. Read the codes. Evap. What's the next one? Bank 1, sensor 1. Okay. That's what we were just checking to make sure we replaced the right one. That's upstream. It's a 4-cylinder, so we just have 2. And yeah, that's upstream. That's what I needed to know. We'll do that real quick. More bonus footage. I've got the truck kind of parked on the corner there with the lights on, and I forgot to pop the hood. Dang it. Or maybe I didn't forget. There it goes. Bingo. All right, so apparently that upstream sensor is underneath the vehicle anyways, because it has a turbo, but I feel like they still could have put it up there. Whatever. What was I saying? Whatever. We'll get under there real quick and replace it. And I moved it off of that steep incline over there off that road. Moved it over to here because I didn't want it to roll down the hill. I chalked it anyways here. It's a lot more flat, but it's still on an incline. All right. And honestly, the problem's probably part of this, where the O2 sensor wiring just hangs out under the vehicle here. Here's both O2 sensors. There's downstream and there's upstream. They both look new. Per customer request, we're going to replace it anyways. This is his request. So I didn't do any diagnosing, it just has a code for it, but my guess is it's probably something in that wiring. We'll see. Okay, first things first, we'll just get this old O2 sensor out. If I can slip this over that wiring. All right, that should be good. Push. All right. All right. I was wondering if the length of that wire was for real or not. I guess it's for real. I don't know why it's so long if it's in reality needs to be like all of 8 inches. There you have it. We're gonna unplug it real quick and get the new one in. That's all there is to it. Yeah, I mean, this sensor looks pretty new, so I don't know. What the deal is here. Ugh. My arms are like falling asleep from holding them up here so long. Oh, my fingers. Oh. Just tighten down. Oh, goodness. My arms fall asleep. And this is what happens sometimes when you use customer supplied parts. It is the wrong O2 sensor. This one's the downstream sensor. I think. Just the wrong sensor on it in general. Well, I'll go see what the customer wants to do. He's gonna have to put that new one in. So he's probably gonna have to go get a new one. He probably can't return this old one, so I may just leave this one hanging down here. And just, yeah, I don't know, I'll probably just leave it hanging down here so exhaust gas doesn't blow out of there, and wait for him to get the new one and then come install it. When he does, we'll go see what he wants to do. All right, so he's just gonna run and grab the new one real quick while I do this. While I take this one out because we're close to the parts store anyway, so take this one out. I'm gonna charge him more though. Okay, it happens. My arms are refreshed, so I'll try and get this out quick. All right, there's that. We'll wait for that new one now. Okay, so here's the deal. Downstream sensor here, upstream up there, and somebody has plugged these wires into the wrong one. So somebody's put the downstream sensor in the upstream, and the upstream and the downstream. This guy just verified it. He went over to the parts store to get the new part, and I sent him with the old one I took out just to double check everything, and they're matching that one up with the downstream connectors or O2 sensor. So that's somebody's messed that up. I've worked on this car once before, and there was a different wiring issue where somebody had messed with some wiring and put it back together incorrectly, and here's another one. So that's interesting. We'll go ahead and just switch these two where they're supposed to be, and that should probably take care of the issue. At least that's what we're gonna do next, and he's gonna wait and see what happens. All right, so we got the upstream one put in place, and we're just waiting on that downstream one to get here, and we'll be done. Got both those back in place with their little heat shield around those wires, and we're gonna give that some test drives and see if that doesn't help those codes go away.